The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, Marshall Reddick members. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Phoenix, Arizona investment opportunities is what we're going to be presenting tonight, a little bit about the market and why we have chosen to continue to be in this area. This is me. I am Tanya Lorimore. I'm a real estate advisor, been with Marshall Reddick for 5 years now and counting. Really love what I do. I'm a licensed California real estate broker. So that means I help people buy and sell here locally. I've helped all the way from Los Angeles Valley to Palm Springs and down to San Diego. So that is what I do here, and as well analyze investment properties across the U.S., one of the markets being Arizona. So what I would like to do is get that sound check, you guys. So if you can hear me, please type into the box that you can hear me. This is an interactive webinar, so your questions are valued throughout. I'll be able to type back to you, and then there will also be a time that we can go ahead and review questions. So take your time and type in, I can hear you, hello, hey Tanya, I see a few of my clients on here and a lot of new faces. So please take some time and let me know. Oh, thank you guys. Okay, awesome. I'm so happy I can move on now that I'm getting quite a few responses. All right, so like I said, I'm a real estate broker. I also am an investor, so I practice what I preach, which I think is really important. I'm a numbers girl. I went to Long Beach State for my FRL program, finance, real estate, law, got a lot out of it, and I come from a family of real estate. So my grandparents invested in real estate, so of course my parents saw the riches in real estate, and then of course they have my brother and I do the same. So I've done everything from property management, cleaning, doing all the dirty work ourselves as a family, and it's just been a fun experience. So I love what I do. If you guys are new to Marshall Reddick, you'll know that now we have everything. We're like a one-stop shop. So we're a licensed real estate brokerage, and we also do property management. We do property management here locally in Southern California and in Northern California. And in every single market that we're in, we have property management to follow. There's no way that we would suggest that you buy property in some location without an entire package for it to be easy for you with a company that we've built a relationship with for several years. So this is a very comfortable place to learn how to invest and get started, and a lot of my clients are repeat purchasers. So what that means is when you start doing real estate, you need to build that team, right? So we have everything that you would need. We have a relationship with real estate brokers, like our agent that we have on this call tonight. She is in Phoenix, Arizona. We have the property management to follow, which is so key. The lenders, we have a lender that we've worked with for over a decade now that's licensed to lend in every single state that we're in, as well as an insurance agent to shop before you close. Actually, a little inside secret here is if you shop a couple weeks before you close, you get a discounted quote. So that's a fun tidbit that not too many people know about. They usually wait till the very end, but that's one thing I say to start on right away. And of course, there's so many different things like a 1031 exchange. I'm happy to explain those to you later. That's when you sell a property, you can defer taxes, but every single real estate vendor you would need, we have. So we at one point used to be in the majority of all of the markets across the U.S. We've been in business for over 30 years, but today we've whittled it down to 16 major metropolitan markets in 8 different states across the U.S. As you can see, we are here to focus on Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm so excited to get things started for you, but let me take a quick poll and find out exactly why you're here today. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. Let's see. It's kind of interactive. I think it's fun because we get to learn a little bit more about you. So everybody take some time, click vote. It's why are you interested in the Phoenix real estate area? Number one is it's close to where I live. Number two is I've read about it and I know it's a really great market. Obviously, that's what a lot of real estate magazines and newspaper articles have been saying. Number three, it's a great market for cash flow and appreciation. And the last one is I have no idea why I'm here. I'm just coming to learn and expand my horizons. So let us know which one fits you best, and I will close it out and share all the results. All right, it looks like about 84% of you guys are participating, 87, okay. Awesome, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it out now and share. So if you guys can see, a lot of people are happy that it's comfortable, it's close to where they live, so that's a reason that they want to invest. 37 know that it's a great market because they've read multiple articles on it, and 41% believe that it's a great market for cash flow and appreciation, as we will see towards the very end of the presentation. And then 33 are just here to learn, which is a great starting point. Okay. So I'm going to welcome Tanya Nord. As I might have shared earlier, we have the same name, but she spells it differently than I do, or I spell it differently than her, as you'll notice. But we've worked with her and her team for, goodness, 5, 6 years now. So a lot of repeat clients. So I'll let her get started and start sharing more about the market. Tanya, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Tanya.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here with all of you to talk about the Phoenix market. It's definitely a great place to invest, and it's just such a reliable market. I'm just really excited to see so many of you are still interested. Basically, if you're listening today, you're probably a seasoned investor who already understands the benefits of real estate for an investment strategy. In other words, you may be new and want to get your feet wet. If you guys are in California, this is obviously a very close drive, a half-day drive, and you can come check out your property, which is nice. Obviously, good property management will be here to help keep an eye on everything, but it's definitely nice to have something a little bit closer to home. In general, financial independence is very important. So a lot of us, we want to get financial independence. We want to build our retirement. A lot of people, just like Tanya was saying, her family is run for years. You leave a legacy, you teach your children, they own it. It's one of the best ways to get wealthy and to hold wealth and to build a whole portfolio. Let's see. Want to go to the next slide for me? Thank you. These are just a couple of quick quotes again, talking about real estate. All the wealthiest people have all done it through real estate. It's one of the major contributors to your portfolio that's going to help you build wealth, along with other things. It tends to be a little bit more stable than the stock market, even with the ups and downs that are just normal over the decades. It's still very, very reliable and one of the top reasons that you should do it. Not to mention all of the benefits. A lot of it can be tax-free. You've got tenants paying your mortgage, getting more and more equity, and it's all tax deductible. You've got your expenses and your mortgage payments. So kind of like a forced savings plan. So it's definitely really good to add into your investment portfolio. So here is me and my family. That is my husband and my 2 children. We have lived here our entire lives. I am the broker, the designated broker for AZ Equity Properties. I started with them back in 2011, and a couple years ago became the designated broker. This company is dealt with investments since day one. So I've learned a wide range of experience in different aspects. I've helped on acquisitions, buying, selling. I also am a property manager, and so I have really good background knowledge on the renting part of it, which gives me a little bit of an edge when I'm helping my investors find properties. We'll go into a little bit more about property management later, but I've done everything dealing with the HOAs to dealing with all my investors and tenants personally one-on-one. So it's definitely given me a lot of experience. And then on the next slide, it'll be the owner. It is Anthony Thomas, and he's been in investments pretty much his whole entire adult life. He used to be an investment advisor and held lots of security licenses and managed over $100 million in assets. He moved here and has been in the Arizona market since 2005. He is the owner of the company and oversees more of the finance and business part of everything. He's not actually an agent. He's just more like you guys, an investor, and has been doing it for years. And he's constantly changing the game. He actually also has a cabinet and stone company that kind of helps when we're remodeling properties and things like that. So he definitely understands the business. And on the next slide, basically a quick overview. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the company, about the property management side of everything, kind of our fees, reasons why people invest in the Phoenix market, a few market statistics, reasons to act now because the market is really strong. And then the best part of the night, we are going to be talking about some really great opportunities. We got a couple of multi-units as well as some single-family residences. So make sure you stick around for that part. So a little bit more about AZ Equity. We are not a large brokerage. We're more of a boutique real estate investment company and brokerage. It was originally started to be built by investors for investors. Back in about 2009, actually all the way back to 2006, 2007, keep going from there, the market dropped and hit really bad, as you know. And so they were buying properties. They had a whole bunch of investors whose money they managed. They were buying the properties, fixing them up, renting them out, and selling to investors. And it was just a constant, steady flow. We were able to have the properties for all of our Marshall Reddick clients. Things have changed over the years, obviously. We now do more high-end flips, and I just help clients do the MLS, find properties, and then I manage it if they need it managed. And we're one-stop shop. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Like I said, we do everything. We can help you find the properties. We can analyze them, run all the comps. I can also get you quotes on rehabbing. We obviously do all the advertising, the renting, the managing. I can run rental comps. Anything you need, we should be able to handle it for you. Under our property management, pretty basic. Obviously, we do a lot of marketing. We're on all the major websites. We utilize the MLS, which also syndicates the website. We even go into the small websites like Craigslist and things like that that wouldn't be part of the MLS. We do a nationwide tenant screening. It checks for all criminal, credit, income, employment, evictions. If they were late and had a judgment filed against them, that would show up as well. Very thorough. We also will double check previous landlords. We'll check, the employment, get verifications back. We collect and retain security deposits unless an owner prefers to keep it. We just suggest that we keep it, makes it easier and cleaner. We have a great online portal system. We use Propertyware, so it offers a portal for tenants as well as their owners. It can take payments. The tenants can submit service requests. They can communicate with us on here. They can see all of our documents, like the lease and things like that, which the owner can also see. They can see the maintenance requests going in. If they want to require that they have to approve everything, it can work that way as well. An owner can log in. They can submit owner draws or money if some kind of rehab is needed through the portal. They can view the financials up to date. They can see the maintenance, like I mentioned, and they can see the reporting. However, I do also email out an email with the statement as of the 25th, which is when we send our owner draws. It'll show all your income and expenses to that date. And then at the end of the month, it's uploaded to your portal where you can check it and see if anything changed in the last few days of the month. And again, timely rent disbursements, we usually release it on the 25th of every month. Depending on what day it falls on the weekend, it may be the next business day, or sometimes I'll just do it a few days early. We offer year-end 1099 preparation. We do it through a third-party company, but they'll send you everything, and we'll email you a year-long report to use with your taxes. We do property inspections. We do move in and then move out, and then we offer a 6-month inspection as well, just to check on the property, make sure everything is looking good. We can help with small remodel jobs. We can do big remodel jobs, handyman repair services. We obviously have people we've been working with for years that are well priced and reliable. As far as the eviction process, it's very landlord-friendly state. You can usually get someone out in a matter of 30 days. I haven't had to evict anyone in quite a while, thank God, but typically if they're late, you send them a 5-day notice, you submit the information to the lawyers, which we do all that for you at no extra charge. We just pass the fees straight on to you. There's no upcharges, and they can typically get them out within 30 days, which again, any expenses, everything is straight pass through. We don't upcharge anything, so it's pretty straightforward. Now with Marshall Reddick clients, we do offer some discounts. So these fees are based on the single family residence. When you get into the multi-units, it can change a little bit because obviously it's multiple properties on one property, or units on one property, I should say. But our startup fee is about $175. That's a discount, normally $250. And same with the one-time advertising fee. It won't ever be charged again. It's normally $250, and we're discounting it to $175. We do ask to have a reserve fund in case there's any kind of repairs that are needed between the time we give you your owner draws and the time that rents are paid again. So we do at least $500 per property, however, no more than $1,000 per owner. So if you have multiple properties with us under the same name, no more than $1,000. That'll give us enough to disperse between the properties as needed. We do a flat fee for our management fee, which most places charge 1% of the rental income. We do a flat $70. It works really well for us. It just takes the guesswork out of it. It's just a flat fee. Same thing with the leasing fee. It's a flat $500. Some people do 6 to 8% of the total annual rent. We just keep it simple and keep it a flat rate. And we do guarantee our tenants. If for some reason they don't perform or need to be kicked out within the first 90 days, we will replace the tenant at no cost to you.
Yeah, and so like one thing I really wanted to kind of key in on here is, you know, Tanya was sharing that she hasn't had to do an eviction in a very long time, and that's because they hand select and take the time to place the right tenant after they do the background checks, employment verification checks, credit checks, all those things to ensure that you guys do get a good tenant, because they're in business to make you guys happy and themselves happy, right? Because they benefit only when you guys are benefited. So it's important to notice that her eviction rate that's not what she's in business for, to just put somebody in and then have to evict a bad tenant. So I just thought I would chime in.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Of course.
All right. So the Valley of the Sun, obviously we have beautiful sunsets. But aside from that, we also have a very strong market, a steady market that's really great for investing. Basically, give me here 1 second. The Phoenix market and the quality of life. There are so many advantages of being here. We have one of the fastest growing cities. We are expected to double over the next 20 years. Maricopa County alone encases the whole Metro Phoenix area that I encompass. You can already go to the next slide also, Tanya. The whole Maricopa County, which is all the areas I work with, it's got Phoenix, it's got the outskirts suburbs. Basically, it's the fastest growing city or county in America. We are ranked number 2 as the best place to live for the biggest city bargains, quality of life, versus how much you spend for rent or your mortgage versus how much you're making. It all kind of goes hand in hand with each other. It's nothing too crazy. It's not as expensive as California. And a lot of people come here. They love coming here. We get retirees all the time. We have people from all over different countries. We have different states. Our employment rates are dropping. It's down to 4.2%, which it was at 5% last year. So that's a good drop. A lot of companies are moving in here. And our values are going up. The market's coming back really strong. The values have gone up about 6.4 to even up to about 7%, depending on the area. It's going to slow down a little bit more, but we're still expected to get a good about 2.4, some areas more like a 3% increase over the next year. But 2017 is actually looking to be one of the best years in the Metro Phoenix area in our history. The other 2 years that kind of hit the top of the market were 2005, and that was the big bubble with major inflation, lenders being too lenient. And then the other time with the most sales, it was the bottom out, which was 2011, when all the investors were buying everything up. So this will be the first healthy market rise, best year for the properties. But there's still plenty of room for appreciation, so it's definitely a good thing to act now because you still want to be able to take in on that appreciation game. You can still buy properties at a decent price. Rents are still rising, which is wonderful. It's making it where you can still cash flow or at least get your property paid for while getting your mortgage paid down and your savings built up. So you definitely don't want to delay any longer if you want to capitalize on that appreciation game. All right. So can you go back to the last one real quick? Okay. So reasons why people move here. Obviously the weather. The weather is a huge part of it. It's sunny most of the time. We have a few days, or a few months, I should say, that are extremely hot. However, we have AC for that. The other 8 or 9 months is beautiful, year-round. Can't complain. People love that our property taxes are very low. It makes it very affordable to own properties here. I would say it ranges from about 0.87 to maybe about 1.5% of the assessed value. So very affordable property taxes. We have a lot of professional opportunities. We've got big companies. Intel is a major one out in Chandler, and they're constantly adding more to their building out there. We've got Amex. Banner Health is one of our top 5 marketing areas where it's just building more and more and more. All of their headquarters are here, and they're growing, and they're opening new buildings everywhere. We've got one in most of the cities here. We've got Motorola, Microchip, Boeing, Amazon, the list just goes on and on. We have awesome outdoor activities. We've got an abundance of golf. Sorry, one second. I need to take a quick sip of water. So, we're the golf capital of the world. There's a whole lot of different golfing courses. We've got lots of dining, social atmospheres. We have the new Odyssey Aquarium, which opened up in Scottsdale, and it's the largest one in the Southwest United States. We've got beautiful mountains, great for biking and hiking, camping, lots of places to go. There's lakes. We've got a lot of different indoor and outdoor attractions. Very good school. We have some of the best schools in the nation. We've got over 24 high schools that are nationally recognized. Of course, we have ASU, which is huge, and one of the largest universities as well in the nation. We've got an abundance of community colleges that are very affordable out here. A lot of really good business schools, which brings a lot of people here. People get really well educated here. Manufacturing is huge here. We can go ahead and go on to the next slide, please. So again, I just brought up manufacturing. About 5,000 manufacturers, constantly getting more and more companies coming to the Phoenix area, a lot in Mesa as well. They basically are making a big demand for our workforce. I know CNBC had ranked Arizona number 2 in the terms of training, quality, and availability of workers, while also having one of the lowest costs of labor in the nation. They're actually expecting our labor force to increase by 85% over the next 20 years. So it's a lot of people needing a place to live. There is a really big shortage of rentals out here right now compared to the demand, making it a very high demand area in most places. There's very few that have much vacancy rate. I'm really trying to help investors understand that there's a lot of properties that we need to buy out here because there's a lot of demand for properties, both rentals and for sales. We're at a drought basically. We're short, but there are deals out there, and properties are renting like hotcakes. People are fighting over properties, so it's definitely really strong right now for landlords. A couple of our cities are really focusing on technology type jobs, software and IT. Supposed to increase by 25% over the next decade. I know Peoria is working really high on getting a lot of technology companies out here and some more business schooling and technology, aerospace. That's about it. Let's go on to the next slide. So again, base of our city's economy is manufacturing. We have a lot of tourism type areas. We're a quick drive to California. We're a quick drive to Sedona. We've got a lot of beautiful places for people to go. A lot of land still for business companies to build on. Our economic growth, like I had mentioned, we're supposed to increase by 85%. Our labor force, a lot of them live in the Metro Phoenix area. We also do have a large portion of people that commute. They live more on the outskirts, either further out west or further out east, and they drive more centrally located to the properties that they're working at or what have you. But the reason why they can do that is because of our easy commuting here. We have a very good highway system running both north, south, east, and west. You can get from one side all the way on the east side, all the way to the west side with no traffic in, say, 40 minutes. With traffic, it might take a little bit longer. So it makes it really easy for a lot of people to live on the outskirts and not be in the middle of everything and still get to work in 30, 45 minutes. We also have a really good transportation system. We've got the buses, we have the light rail, which is newer. We've got a very large bus system, actually, and the light rail is growing even more, and they're adding even more freeways right now to help you get to more eastern areas like Chandler, to get to the West Valley like Levine. You can search it up in the middle of a couple of different highways, finishings. They've got a new one way out on 303, which is in the West Valley. And the other thing is it's so easy to get integrated into Arizona. It's easy for people to move here. Everything's on an easy grid. It's north, south, east, west. You don't get lost. I know when I go to California, I get lost. I go in circles and I get a little confused. So it's definitely very easy to integrate yourself here. Lots of dining, lots of social atmospheres, easy to just kind of blend right in and fit in and call it home. And another great aspect is the lower cost of living. As it says here, it's 67% more expensive in Los Angeles than here in Phoenix. So it's very affordable to live here. You can still make really good wages, affordable housing. It really makes for a great place to buy as well as rent out here.
All right, you guys. So if you guys are familiar with Marshall Reddick already, you understand what this heat chart means and how we've pulled this data. But I wanted to take a moment as a real estate advisor for Marshall Reddick specifically, how we analyze our properties. So we're very data driven, and we pull everything from reliable sources. So we get a lot of our data from NAR, National Association of Realtors, and we pull from like over 20 years of data. So as you can see, this is what Arizona has done and is doing right now. So you can see on this chart here that it's steadily increased, and it had its huge, it went all the way up in 07 and it dropped off in 08. And then a lot of my clients were super happy that I helped them buy, and it's continuing on this growth line that is going on an upwards trend. So it still has positive growth trending. So you can see the appreciation rate is at a 3.34%. And we classify properties A, B, and C. You'll notice that we do not advertise D-class properties or luxury properties. And the D-class properties, as Tanya Nord will tell you, it's a very rough neighborhood, and the tenant turnover would be very high and difficult to manage. And we don't want that for your money. So that's why we don't, promote buying in D-class neighborhoods. If you want a luxury property, that's probably for you planning on retiring there in the future. I have had clients buy luxury homes, but it's not necessarily going to give you the kinds of returns that you want. But if you're planning on buying it for the future or different reasons, we cater to that need as well. But the majority of the homes that you'll see on our website are going to be A, B, and C. And those price points are purely based on the median home price for this metropolitan area of Phoenix, Arizona. there is an entire formula for people that want to get really hands-on and dive into the numbers with me. I love to do that, or you can just look at the pretty heat chart and see how we get that. But you can learn how to use our Marshall Reddick rating guide by, see this link down here, see investments, and then download our ebook on property classes. If you're interested in this, instead of you jotting it down and taking furious notes and maybe misspelling it, just go ahead right now in the questions box and say, Tanya, please send me the Property Reddick rating book, want to learn more, and I'll be happy to send that to you, or my assistant will send it to you tomorrow. So yeah, take a peek, see what it's doing. It's a great way to understand the market, what it's doing, where it's going, and what type of tenant you'll have in your property. So this is a data packet, and we compile this for every single market that we're in. As you saw, all the markets that we're in, we have data packs available for you, and they're usually anywhere from like 12 to 16 pages long. I think that they're really amazing learning tools to kind of like dive in and really learn everything, like just compiled in a little pretty book, and it shares so much about the area. If you're interested in getting the data packet, go ahead and type into the question box that you would like the data packet, or both. Like, I want to learn more. Send me how I can understand this. And I'm happy to help you learn and grow. So, perfect. Now, this is the part that, you know, everyone is here. They want to see what the market offers. Get ready to take some notes. We're going to go through like 4 or 5 properties here. And if it's anything like when I take my local buyers out on tour, after 3 or 4 properties, it becomes a blur, and like it becomes a blizzard, and everybody's like putting different properties in different categories. So just take your notes and write property 1, property 2, this is what I like the best. And then that way you can really separate and understand which property might be a better fit for you based on the area. So I'm going to have Tanya and Nord come back on and start sharing about the neighborhoods and like what the different markets will bring for you.
Yes, this is the favorite part of the webinar for me. Get down to the real important stuff, the properties and what kind of money we can make. These first 2 properties are going to both be in Peoria. Peoria is considered in the West Valley. I don't know if all of you are familiar with the area. The Cardinal Stadium, the new one, is out in Peoria. It's just a few miles away from these couple properties, and Westgate as well. So it's definitely, it's a good area. It's got some definite areas that are well established. Some areas are a little bit older, but still very nice. Great school districts, entertainment, good job force. This particular property is actually already rented, which is great. It does have a tenant in place at a below market rent. However, it is already tenant paying. It's through January, the middle of January of next year, and they're paying $10.25 a month. I ran market rents, and it really should be more about $1,200 a month, so definitely room for an increase, either when this tenant goes to renew or moves out. No HOA, which is great, no extra cost. The house is built 95, so a little bit older, but still in well condition, typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath, good size lot, 5,700 square feet. So it's listed at $185. And Marshall Reddick does a great way of breaking down all the numbers, and they take into account anything you can think of. You might not always have some of these expenses, but they want to break it down so you account for it, like the vacancy and the maintenance and things of that nature. In general, they have set amounts for vacancy rates, so keep in mind while we're going over these properties that the vacancy rates are definitely well below what these numbers are ran at. B properties are kind of pulling about 10% vacancy rate, whereas you get into C properties, it might go up to 13%. But for the most part, anywhere in the valley right now, you're at a 5%, some even less. I've got properties that are rented before they even go vacant. They might only take a couple weeks, at the most a month to rent, if that. So just keep that in mind. Here, basically, it's bringing down, you know, your taxes, your insurance. There's no HOA fee. that are management fees, no utilities, Tenny pays all that. So ideally, your monthly income is going to be about $292.13, which is great. It may not really need a whole lot of work, but we do try to, put those numbers in there so you have an idea what you might need to spend as far as your total investment when you're buying the property. But it's showing a great return. You got a 13.82% return over 15 years. That's pretty amazing for me. Definitely a good property. I thought this would be a good one. Not to mention, it's also priced well below market value. The most recent property that sold, that's the exact same property, sold for $207,000. This is listed at $185,000, and honestly, this one looks, by pictures only at least, to be in better condition. So that's already $22,000 in instant equity, which is amazing. Very low crime area. Definitely, I think this is definitely a good one to look into.
Yeah, I like this property. It's basically like walking into equity, which is, that saying that you make your money on the buy rather than the sell. Like, because even if you sell later on in life, at least you've already got this built-in equity and you're not waiting at the average of 3.38% as the previous slide shows for the average appreciation in this market. So it takes quite a while at 3-point-something% to get $22,000 equity. So if you're interested in this property, as Tanya said, she would be able to share with you the market analysis on this home if this is something seriously that you would like to consider and are in a position to buy. But I think it's really a neat opportunity from an investor standpoint. One thing I'd really like to share about the estimated vacancy, as Tanya was sharing, Arizona is in a really hot demand for getting properties rented. So it doesn't take very long for Tanya and her team to get a property rented out. So Tanya, let me ask you a question. How many days do you think it would take you if your tenant gave a 30-day notice, as it's a standard in your practice, to let you know that they're going to not renew their lease? So by the time that they move out and you do your final walkthrough inspection, and then you getting it cleaned up, pictures taken, put back on for review, and touring new potential people, how many days will it take to from when the person moves out to getting a new qualified tenant in place?
Well, one thing we do, unless we know that we're probably going to be in need of doing some work, some updates, because it's been a while, we usually market our properties 30 days during the last 30 days. So that's why we ask for the good notice. We start marketing the property before the tenants have even moved out. And a lot of times I have someone ready to move in as soon as these tenants move out. We schedule the move out walkthrough. They're expected to have the house and the carpets clean. Doesn't always happen. So we have someone on standby ready to get in there and get the cleanup done. And most of the time right now, maybe not at all times, but right now the market is so hot. Pretty much all my properties are rented before they're even vacant. They're waiting for the last person to move out, basically. If I were to have to wait, turnaround time, easily within a week, get someone in there, do updates, do repairs, whatever it may be, get it listed, and should still be rented within those first 30 days. Properties are literally renting within a day, 2 days, 7 days on the market. The most I'm having any sit vacant at this time is maybe a month, depending on if it's a lot for rent in the neighborhood, but we're not really running into that right now. There's definitely there's none, or there's only a couple that are available for rent because it's so hard to find rentals right now. They're just flying off the market. I'll get like 5 applications on one property.
So as you guys can see, her team and her strong suit is being proactive. So that's the difference between a general property manager and the property management teams that Marshall Reddick hand selects to work with our clients. So from what she just described to you, is she saying anywhere between 7 days, vacancy to 30 days is what's typical. So let me explain to you how we get that 10% future vacancy. So there are 365 days in a year, right? So we take 365 and multiply that by 10%. If you do that on your calculator, it'll equate to 36 and a half days. So we just round up because we're a conservative in nature company in analyzing properties, and that would lead to 37 days that you're anticipating your home to be vacant. So this money goes into your account because, as Tanya is sharing, she gets it done really fast. So I would rather my clients be super satisfied that it took much less and you have more money in your bank account, but we like to just be conservative for any case scenarios. So I just wanted to explain that this highlighted red number in this box is the money that comes to your bank account every single month. And the other one, the future vacancy, the future maintenance, the future leasing fee, that is what you'll see on our breakdown on the website, only having $24.35 in your bank account. But you'll have to focus and remember that in your bank account, you're going to be receiving the $292. But we're a financial company, so we're analyzing investments for our clients. We make it super easy, and this is how it's all broken down. I would love to dive into that on a more one-on-one consultation with you, but it's just super important to understand how we analyze properties because a lot of, when you look at numbers, they don't forecast what will come in the future, and this is over a 15-year projection. So I think it's really important to clarify these numbers on the first one especially. So, okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, that was good.
Okay, so I'm going to let Tommy. Yes.
So Diana Avenue, again, we're in Peoria. This one is slightly closer to the West Gate area as well as the stadium, sorry. And it actually backs up to a park and is really close to one of the nice golf courses out in Peoria. And this property is next to some vacant areas, which is really good. There's actually a good area of Peoria, about 30% that's still left to really build on. So I'm projecting that there's going to be some new builds going up nearby. This community is a smaller one. It's about 27 properties. So it's got, a really low HOA fee. It's got $27 a month in HOA fee. Kind of keep some of the common areas nice and neat. But it's going to have new builds going up around it, which is just going to help the value of the property and going to bring in really the community of people. As I mentioned before, Peoria is really gearing towards getting a lot of healthcare companies and tech companies out there. So I definitely see a lot of things happening for Peoria over the next 10 years. This property in general is really nice. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, so it's got plenty of room, about 1,600 square feet. Really good for, a whole family to be in and have some room. It's considered about a B-class property, good area, low crime, great schools. The lot size is really good. It's about 7,800 square foot lot size. So you break down the numbers. This one is a little over the $200,000 mark. I ran some comps, and it could possibly sell for that. It might be worth slightly less than that. I kind of came up with about 202 to about 210. So it's right about there, but might be able to tie it down for a little bit less. You break it down, and after all the expenses, you're looking at about $315 in cash flow, which is great. Again, low vacancy rate in this area. It comes with a hot tub. I don't know if anyone wants to have a hot tub, but some people like that. But one of the best things is it has an RV gate. A lot of tenants, it's not as common, and a lot of tenants like having that. They may have a trailer they need to park for work, or have a vehicle they use for work, like a truck that's kind of bigger, and not have it outside. But it's got a really great floor plan. Again, if anyone's interested, I can actually share the listing so you can see a lot of pictures of it. But I definitely think this one would be a good one as well.
And I would like to just chime in here. As you can see, Tanya knows the market very well. And notice how she's always looking out for the best interest of our clients. She has already been very upfront with this listing on Diana, that she's run the numbers, the comps based on recent sales, and she feels that we could get away with writing an offer between 203 and 208. So that's 209, I think you said. I don't know. But anyway, so just so you guys know, all of her specific commentary is data driven. We can't just throw offers at people because they will be denied if it does not make sense for the market. So just know that all my clients that have successfully purchased with her always feel very well taken care of, and so much so that they've built a relationship with her, and it makes me so sad because I get left out of the second and third purchases. But of course, I'm still tied in. Tanya will still CC me on emails. We work very closely together with all of our vendors and reps to ensure that you have a wonderful, experience, I guess is basically what I'm getting at. But she's not just going to write an offer because that's the list price. She'll run the numbers, share the numbers with you and I, and then we'll come up with a reasonable game plan for you to get your offer accepted. So I hope that's a comforting feeling for you guys. Were you done explaining this property, Tanya?
Yeah, pretty much. I did want to also know, it's in the details, but it has a newer AC in 2013, so that's huge out here. You know, we got to have our AC.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's our biggest thing out here.
Really
we got to have a good working AC.
Absolutely. We know how hot it can get over there.
Yeah. All right, so our next property is on Mauna Loa Lane in El Mirage. I actually manage a property and sold it to a Marshall Reddick investor back in 2012. I think it's maybe 2 houses down from here. It's been a great property. There's never been any issues. Good neighborhood, low crime rate. If you're not familiar with the area, El Mirage is like a northwest city. It's kind of on the outskirts. It's near the 101 freeway. Some areas are a little bit older, but for the most part, most of these properties are built 2000 and newer. So this property itself is your typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a little over 1,200 square feet. The lot size is about 5,600 square feet. So it's a good basic size house. 2-car garage as well. It's got very low maintenance landscaping, which landlords like as well as tenants. Easy to take care of. The backyard actually has, all rock. It looks really nice. You've got all your appliances on this one, which is nice. It comes with a refrigerator. I'm trying to remember. It does not come with a washer and dryer, but that's not always needed anyways. But it's got a nice split floor plan as well. Definitely real good, solid, basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath rental. I'm expecting this one to be able to rent. Where do I have it at? About $1,200 a month. It's currently owner occupied, so it would be vacant, but I could easily probably get it rented at $1,200 a month, which is pretty good. After all your expenses, it does have an HOA fee. It's a quarterly one, so when you break it down, it comes to about $25.67 a month. Really not bad. They help take care of the neighborhood, make sure people aren't painting their house pink. There's good and bads about HOAs, but for the most part, they're all really good. I personally know this HOA is easy to work with. They don't hassle you. They just, want to make sure everything's nice and taken care of. So this one, after you have all your basic expenses, you're looking at $320 a month cash flow. And that's on top of your mortgage payment being paid. So again, nice good cash flow, good return. You got about 14.33% for a 15 annual return, which is, again, a very nice return. So this one could really work. The pictures inside look really nice as well. So definitely if you're interested, let me know so I can actually send you some more pictures on this one.
Absolutely. And one key thing, if you guys missed it, is our client bought this property a few years back, and Tanya has been managing it this whole time. So what that tells me as an investor is that's fantastic because she already knows the current tenants in place. She understands the history of that tenant and or any other things that have taken place of repairs, maintenance requests over the past couple of years. That's a really good insight for you rather than just going to a random, seller and having them try to disclose that. Like they're probably not organized like a property manager is keeping meticulous like notes. So I thought I would add that in before we moved on to the next one.
Okay, so I think we're going to get into the multi-units now, which these are a couple of really good ones. I'm excited about these. A lot of investors are pushing a little bit more towards the multi-units. It can be harder to find newer build ones, but this one's not too bad. This one was built in the 70s, and it's in Chandler. Chandler is amazing. This one is actually a triplex. Chandler in general, the whole city of Chandler is one of the fastest cities growing in Arizona. Very low crime rate and excellent schools. They definitely take the time and put their money into the schools, really good sports. I know personally I want to get out to Chandler and have my son go to one of the Hamilton High out there because it's got a really good sports there, and he's a sports guy. So definitely a great city to go to. It's got Intel. Intel is a huge contributor to the workforce out there. My husband actually was working out there for a lot of years, and they're continuously adding new fabs. So that's a big key thing down there. They got an excellent downtown area. So a little bit about the actual property. It is close to the 202 freeway, which has access to all the other freeways, so it's definitely very easy to commute to different areas. It's got 3 units, and I think, let's see, we got one of them is a 1-bedroom unit, and it's getting about $650 a month in rent right now. And then it's got 2 2-bedroom units, and they're both getting about $700. So you're looking at total rents of $2,050. It's fully rented out already. Ideally, you shouldn't have to go in and make any repairs right now because they're already rented. They do obviously put in here, take account about $3,500 maybe, but ideally it wouldn't happen until they go vacant. No HOA fee, which is another great thing. It can be hard to find sometimes. By the time you get done with everything, utilities, you do cover like the water, sewer, trash, which is very typical. A lot of times they only pay their own electric and the owner pays the water. After you're paying your utilities, this is based on actual numbers that the current owner is paying, and the insurance, your management fees, you're looking at about $703 a month in monthly income, which is amazing. A couple of key points, it's got newer ACs, which is good. They have storage sheds, they have private backyards, which is very hard to find when you come to these properties. They usually don't have any kind of a backyard, so a lot of tenants would really appreciate that. They've recently painted the inside and outside. So I think this is a solid deal. I love trying to find these ones in Chandler and some of these good, really strong cities that are more A, B class type cities. Based on the price points and breaking it down between all the units, it kind of falls into the C class, but the neighborhood's a great area, great city to be in. Overall, your annual return is about 9.97%. So to me, I think this is definitely a good one if you're looking for multi-unit. And then we've got another one coming up, and this is the one I'm the most excited about. This is a very rare duplex that has 3-bedroom, 2-bath units. So it's basically a house all on its own. Each one is at least 1,200 square feet. They've got basements, which is, again, very unique. We don't have a lot of basement properties out in Arizona. Really good schools. This is out in a little bit more East Mesa. So they have very, very good schools in this area. They're known for some of the schools out here, both elementary all the way up to high school. Close to Falcon Field, the 202, lots of schools and shopping. Mesa is doing a big, huge renovation on their downtown Mesa. They've got the arts center there. As it says here, they stated it never sits vacant for more than a couple days. I actually talked to this agent. He managed it for years, and then he owned it for a few years, and now he's looking to liquidate some of his assets. It's been a great property. He's had very low vacancy rates. The rents currently right now, 2 of the units are newly rented, and they're getting $1,075 a month. And then 2 of the other units have had tenants in there for already 2 years that just signed the lease for another year. Their rents are at $1,000, so he hasn't raised it on them, but there is room for increase there as well. And he had replaced all the carpeting with the last round of tenants. Obviously, the other tenants have been there for a few years. Those ones haven't been carpeted lately. And then they put tile in the basement in 2016 as well. This one does have an HOA, and it may seem high. It comes out to be $575 total for the 4 units a month. I believe this is a gated community, but also has a pool, a lot of common areas. And the owner on this one doesn't pay any utilities. You don't pay water, sewer, trash. You don't pay any landscaping. You don't pay for any power. The tenant pays for all their own utilities, and then the HOA takes care of everything else. The pool, most landlords don't want to have a pool. It's higher insurance. It's another thing to worry about. It's a liability, but the HOA here takes care of the pool. So You don't have to worry about it on your insurance. And tenants in Arizona love having the access to a pool. They don't have to take care of it, but they still get to enjoy it on those hot days. So it's definitely a big plus. And this property is cash flowing so well, even with the higher HOA fee. If you look at it, total rents are about $4,150 a month. And after all your expenses, you go down and you're going to walk away with about almost $1,400 a month in cash flow. If you have some expenses, I mean, if you go down after taking care of the vacancy and the maintenance, it's still $442 a month cash flow. So definitely a really good property. And it was built in 2005, which is very hard to find these days. They're doing some newer builds now, but for the most part, they're usually older, 80s, 70s, 50s. So this is definitely a rare property. I was excited to find this one. All right. Again, make sure you let me know as soon as possible if any of these are interesting you. If for some reason it's no longer available, I can help you find similar properties. I do searches on the MLS constantly. If I know what it is you're looking for, we can work on finding a property, whether it's on here or if we need to find another one, but I'm happy to help you with any of your needs.
All right, so as I promised, it would be important to take notes because there were so many different price points, different neighborhoods, so many different advantages to each one of these properties that Tanya hand selected out of an entire MLS. You guys, she knows the area so well, which neighborhoods to stay far away from. And if you are browsing around online through, Zillow, and you see something that looks fantastic, you could just email it to myself and Tanya, and we'll review it. We'll run the numbers. We'll tell you why we don't like that area. But I just went ahead and launched that second poll. So go ahead and let us know what property stands out most to you. These are presented in the order that we shared. So go ahead, take some time and vote on the last two were the multifamilies and the first three, as you see. So take your time and click on some of those, and then I will share the results. Okay, so it seems like a lot of you guys were interested in the very last one, which I anticipated. But, everyone's here for different reasons. Everyone's here for different, price points and long-term results. So hopefully that was fascinating to see what everyone else voted on. And I guess we'll go from here. But this is why we buy now. Tanya, did you want to go for this one?
Sure. I mean, as I've mentioned before, you want to buy now. Obviously, it would have been nice to get in around 2011, 2012, and so on. Things were really cheap then, and so now they're majorly cash flowing, but there's still plenty of room to take part in the appreciation. The prices are still going up. The market is still getting stronger. We are constantly building, constantly getting more job growth here, bringing more people moving here, more job force. So we just need more properties. So it's not going anywhere. The rental market is staying strong. There's still a lot of appreciation to take a part of. The interest rates are going to continue to rise. They're still at really good low rates, record-breaking rates. So it's definitely still a good time to get in there and finance. If you need to finance, take advantage of having that low interest rate. It is getting harder to find good properties. You gotta, I do a lot of searches and gotta really try to hand pick out the properties, but they are still there. You have to be realistic, obviously, with your price points, but as long as you can get a property that's at least paying for itself, if not cash flowing, it's building you equity right there. And the biggest thing here is appreciation. Some of the properties are going to be bigger on cash flow, but a big part of Arizona's market is appreciation. It's not going anywhere. And we don't have a whole lot of foreclosures or distressed properties anymore. So it means we're in full force, constantly rising. And there have been rumors that we're hitting a bubble again. We're not. Right now, it's a very healthy market. Lenders are, making decisions in a healthy way. They're not over lending. They're being careful with it. I think we still have a lot of ways to go before we hit our top.
All right, you guys. Yeah, do we have questions? Go ahead and type them in here. You know, during the presentation, Tanya, I'm going to go ahead and read a couple that a few, you know, clients were asking. I think you struck a nerve when you were talking about property management, and a lot of people got excited about that. So just a couple of clarifications here, because obviously their other property management team is probably more expensive. Let's see. So one thing I wanted to clarify, a couple of people asked about this because you had said that the more doors that someone has with you, the more flexible the property management fee is. Do you guys bracket that? Like, after how many doors does the property management fee fluctuate?
It can kind of be a case by case, because it also can depend on the property and really what, you know, I mean, again, like you said, we don't really advertise D-class properties, but say we're managing one and it's, you know, very low income, low price, things like that, we can be working with that. But in general, single family, $70 a month. A duplex, we're probably still at the $70 a month, but we start increasing the doors. We may go down to 60, we may go down to 50 a door. Obviously, get into a larger building, say 16, 28. We're going to look at it as more of a whole versus each individual door. I mean, you are collecting rents on each property, so there still obviously needs to be something there, but we definitely work out better pricing the more properties there are, or the more units on that one property. It's a little bit easier to handle if they're all in one location. So we like to work with our clients, and again, it depends on the property. We kind of work with the client case by case scenario and really just try to figure out what's going to work best in that situation.
Okay, so per door, you're saying basically 5+ units is where you stray away from the standard already discounted rates. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a question from a couple people. So you're talking more like apartment units, like 5+, et cetera. But then, of course, if one client has maybe 7 properties that they want to transfer to you or something like that, then that's a conversation that you have at that time.
Right.
Okay, cool. So here's another question on the fees. So actually, let's see here, on the leasing fee. Is that charged each time we start a new lease with a tenant, or just charged one time when we start?
So a leasing fee is for the lease, so a brand new lease. If a tenant renews, there's a smaller renewal fee. A leasing fee, if we do a whole brand new lease to a whole brand new tenant, it's $500 every time. So if we have turnover every 12 months, it's $500 every time. Again, most places charge anywhere from 6% to 10% of the annual lease. So you would say that the lease is $1,200 a month, times that times 12, and then you times it by, let's say, 8%. That would be what the leasing fee is. So we just do a flat $500, and for the most part, it typically ends up being cheaper than it would have been if you would do anywhere from 6 to 10% of a 12-month lease. Lease renewal, if the tenant stays, which is very common. We do still have to do lease addendums and things like that. So it's a $250 lease renewal fee. And that's for a 12-month renewal. We don't normally do less than 12 months, but if we do, we'll change the leasing renewal fee to be tied with how long the lease is being renewed for. Month to month, we don't charge anything extra. Properties will just go month to month if no one chooses to renew it, but we always try to get a lease in place so it's more reliable for the owner.
Okay.
And that goes to the agent, real quick. That goes to the agent. So the leasing fee, it's not a company fee. We charge it to you, but it goes to the agents that help get the property rented, basically, and the ones that brought the tenants. We share the fees with other agents that help bring the tenant to the place and got us a tenant for you.
That makes sense. So it's not just you guys put it on the MLS, you guys advertise it everywhere possible. So if you
Right.
put it on the MLS, another agent brings their potential person that's going to lease the property. Got it. Okay. startup fees. Okay. And David, if I didn't get that answered correctly for you, Tanya Nord is happy to have a phone conversation with you specifically. And if you are interested in having your properties either transferred to her or what have you, the lease agreement will be very crystal clear. Okay, let's see. Can you send me the data package? Yes. Okay. Okay. How do you collect the rent from tenants?
So we basically can collect it any way other than cash. We do not allow cash, but as I mentioned before, we have a portal so tenants can pay online with either credit, debit card, bank account. They can also mail in checks. Personal checks are fine unless they have been returned for non-sufficient funds.
Right.
So they can come into the office. They can mail it to the office. We also offer, which is a little unique, we offer a payment card. So basically we get it from our bank, which is Wells Fargo, and it's a special card that you can give to a tenant, and they can go to any Wells Fargo ATM, and they use that card kind of like it's a debit card, and they enter it in, it's got their code on it, and they can deposit cash or checks into it, and it goes straight into our account. So there's really
many different ways.
Yeah, there's any way, we just do not allow cash.
Okay. And then these are some interesting questions. You've already answered this earlier on, but just for clarification, does the landlord pay a fee for eviction warranty?
We don't have an eviction warranty. There's some companies that offer that, like, oh, if you want to pay X amount of money, it covers you if you ever have to do an eviction. We don't currently offer something like that. It's just if it does come up. I think the rates went up maybe a couple bucks, but in general, just an estimated amount, I'd say it typically costs about $300 to evict a tenant. We don't upcharge anything. So I send all the paperwork to the lawyer, they submit the paperwork, they send an invoice, and I just pass the expense right along to the owner, or otherwise, I pay for it out of the owner's rental funds in the account, obviously, on their behalf, but we don't upcharge it or do anything like that. Again, I haven't had to evict anyone in a long time, but sometimes it does happen. Sometimes it's not avoidable, but we try our best to avoid that if we can.
Right. And then I know this doesn't happen, but they had a question of if their property takes 1, 2, or 3 months to get rented, it's still not rented. Are there any additional fees for marketing?
No.
Okay.
No.
So then I have another question. Yeah. Okay. So how many multiples does your company manage? So how many multiple family units do you guys manage?
We currently only manage a handful, but it's becoming a bigger area that we're pushing into because I'm getting more and more investors that are interested in that realm of everything. I know for a long time we were sticking more towards, single family residences. So that's the bulk of our properties that we manage. But like I said, in the last year, 2 years, it's been geared more towards multi-units for sure. And so we're not going to turn that away.
Okay. And perfect. Yeah, I think that's it. So see, a lot of people are very interested in the property management. And so Maria, just to clarify, if a client is releasing, like renewing their lease, instead of it being $500, it's $250. Okay, so that was that. And if you guys have more questions, thank you. I see a lot of your guys' private remarks. I will definitely be following up with you on a phone conversation. But let me just hurry up here and talk a little bit about what you can expect from a consultation with an advisor like myself. This is what we walk through. Why do you want to invest? So goal setting. How are you going to get there? How are we going to do it? So I'm going to evaluate your options and find realistic ways to do it. And when's the right time to do that? Can you do it today or tomorrow? What is your investment neighborhood looking like? Is that A, B, or C? And where do you want to buy? So, as you saw, we're in tons of markets, but we were here for Arizona, and I have an idea that you're interested in Arizona because you're here and you're still on here, and introduce you to all the key players. So again, this is me. This is my direct line, 949-885-8147, or you can directly email me. I'm happy to hold, I usually set aside 30-minute windows for each of my consultations, and we tend to cover a lot, and it really just benefits. It doesn't mean that you're buying tomorrow. It could mean that you're buying in 2 years, and that's what's so wonderful about having the opportunity to, work with my clients long term. So I'm so excited. This is a wonderful market for so many reasons, as you guys have learned. Please go ahead, if you want to not even write down my phone number or email, just go ahead and in the questions section, just say, tomorrow or Friday or whatever day and time works well for you. We'll make it happen. So just go ahead and share with me what day and time works best for you so that we can get you closer to your goals and set that path for investing. But Tanya, thank you so much for all of your expertise on the local market and being up late with us tonight. I just want to applaud you and say thank you so much for your time.
Of course, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, I guess that concludes us for the night. I hope that you all have a great evening, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.